Hello everyone and welcome back to a best-of-3 series of professional StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Protoss versus Terran, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Blackburn. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map and playing with the blue Protoss probes from Denmark. Only 17 years old and continuously rising through the ranks. As of me making this video on our League Elect, he's considered to be the rank 15 in the world. We're looking at none other than MaxPax's main base. His opponent, one of my personal favorite Terran players on the planet, recently returning from his mandatory military service from South Korea with the Red Terran SCVs, we have none other than GuMiho. And GuMiho, alright, is sending out an SCV to like his own third base just to try and trick his opponent when that scouting worker will eventually come in. Anyways, every single time that I cover MaxPax on the channel, he's higher ranked. This guy is becoming a little bit ridiculous, okay? So when it comes to like non-Korean Protoss players, the list currently goes Showtime, MaxPax, Neep, Astrea, Skillis, Harstem, Garrod, Gangfu, Mana, Christianer, Haas, Drogo, right? What that means is that at the very least, statistically speaking, recently, MaxPax is ahead of legends like, for example, Neep. Isn't that crazy? Like, obviously, at this point, he hasn't won a Premier Tournament just yet. His very best Premier Tournament result was getting 4th place at DreamHack Masters 4 Europe back in August. So, I mean, you know, it's pretty recent, and obviously the main reason why it's pretty recent is because you have to be like 16 years old before you can participate in these Premier Tournaments in the first place, just because there's, you know, a certain age limit. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at is that MaxPax, at the very least, if you don't have him on your radar just yet, he is considered to be one of the very best Protoss players in the world already. And, yeah, if you don't keep him in mind, he's probably at some point going to start winning tournaments left, right, and center. Wouldn't be surprised at all. His story reminds me a lot, and I know I say this every single time that I cast him, but his story reminds me a lot of, for example, Raynor and Clem like 3 years ago. Those guys obviously have climbed to the tippity top of the skill level, and MaxPax is, yeah, doing it in a very similar way. Either way, MaxPax so far has scouted nothing inside of his opponent's main base other than 2 gases. Now, on this map, it is quite popular to proxy, for example, right over here. I've seen some cheeky openers with battle cruisers and all kinds of other shenanigans. GuMiho, though, I don't think he's doing that. He's just trying to trick his opponent here a little bit. He is going to go for another proxy over here, though. It's going to be a starport. Tech lab right here on the factory. He's going to start pumping out a Cyclone. I've seen a bunch of, like, one-base all-ins on this map in particular, and it's quite tricky, actually, for MaxPax to now continue scouting here. Especially once that Cyclone is out. He's not really gonna get a whole lot of vision. MaxPax initially was playing very tricky, right? He was going for a lot of cheeses, and he still likes to mix those in from time to time. But over the last half year or so, he really has become a lot more of a stock standard macro player, to the point where I'm like, come on, MaxPax, build some stuff on the other side of the map like you used to do. Especially in Protoss versus Zerg, he's become, yeah, I guess a little more, I guess it's fair to say a little more boring. I mean, I've been critical of the matchup in general. Haven't been a huge fan of PvZ recently. But anyways, he's basically just playing whatever strategy he deems best. And, well, a lot of it is just, well, it makes sense, right? a lot of it is just simply playing the much more macro-focused style, the much more laid-back approach. Cloaking Field is coming up here as well for Gumi. So he's now adding on another tech lab. Man, look at his structure placement. I love this from GuMiho. So he's going barracks over there, factory. It's very inefficient, right? Not a whole lot of it makes a ton of sense. But obviously at this point, MaxPax has no clue what he's going up against. He needs to be a little careful that he gets detection out and all that in time. Reaper actually went to the main base, scouted pretty much everything it seems. So the Twilight Council has been spotted. It's going to be that cloaking, that blink upgrade here from MaxPax. So definitely not something out of the ordinary whatsoever. We see that all of the time. He's already thinking about going for a 3rd Nexus, it seems, or at the very least he wants to scout out to see if there's any shenanigans over there. Natural Expo eventually did finish up as well for Gumi, but obviously income-wise, I mean, he's not looking so great here compared to his opponent. I am expecting a bunch of damage here, though, from GuMiho in a little bit, because usually if you open up with that double gas, you do want to deal a little bit more damage than, like, pretty much nothing. Alright, so Banshee going around the left. Yeah, I think he was going... Yeah, there you go. Going around the left towards the natural mineral line. MaxPax is chronoing out... Alright. He's chronoing out a observer here as well to make sure that he can at the very least scout at a reasonable time exactly what's happening. There goes the Banshee. Thing is, there's already a shield battery over here. Okay, he's going for the probes right here on the far end of the mineral line. Just so they're just barely out of range right there of the shieldy boy. Not a great start here so far at all for GuMiho. But he does still have a large amount of units, though. As far as the unit count goes, yeah, look at this. There's 2 siege tanks, a cyclone, and 8 marines versus 4 stalkers and a sentry. Robo Bay is even coming up as well after that 3rd nexus. I think we should really see like an immortal or something along those lines, because otherwise I think there's going to be some trouble. So Max is going to scout this out very soon. Alright. He sees at this point that his opponent is coming up. A couple of the SCVs have been pulled away as well from the mineral line. They're carrying 5 minerals each. Well, 2 of them anyway. That's not a truce. It's not a... Nope, it's not a treasury that's being sent over here for peace negotiations. This is just GuMiho grabbing whatever is closest by. Shield batteries are, of course, very good. Repair is going to be available here as well for those siege tanks, so that's going to be very helpful as those SCVs are desperately trying to keep them alive. One of the tanks does end up going down. Stalker over there also gets gunned down. At this point, GuMiho just walks up to the natural. Battery overcharge has been used, okay? Immortal is out. Battery overcharge has been used over at the 3rd base, so that siege tank over there getting quite a lot of work done regardless. A bunker is also being constructed here by Gumi. Is there enough for him to break through this right now? Reinforcing Terran units are coming up. Keep in mind, in a way, this is completely all in right here for the Terran, right? Like, he needs to deal a very significant amount of damage. So far, it hasn't really happened yet, but once the Immortal falls, okay, now it's going to be nearly impossible here for the Protoss player to hold on. Especially now that the 2nd Robo facility unit, like the Immortal that is not going to be popping out. I guess, okay, I'm sorry, Observer. You're also a Robo facility unit. Bottle over there, not enraged. This might just be GG. 4 more gateways are just about to finish up. We don't have charge here either, so it's not like you can just start charging at these units. The probes are pulled away from their mineral lines. They're here to soak up a bunch of damage. Yeah, I think it's just GG. Alright. Cheeky little play right here from GuMiho, but mostly just a lot of greed from MaxPax. Alrighty. Game number 2 takes us to Glittering Ashes LE. Every single time I say Glittering Ashes, I think of the name that Raynor gave this map, which is less than family friendly. When he first saw it, he wasn't a huge fan of it, but apparently it's actually pretty good for Zerk. You want to hear the biggest pro gamer thing I've heard in a while? I know a few of the pro gamers have been complaining about the cleaning bots on Glittering Ashes, because every once in a while, it can block your structures from coming up. This is why we can't have nice things in the StarCraft community, okay? Like, a cleaning bot walking around could sometimes, like, say it would be idling over here, the gateway could not be planted there. Yep, this is, you know... I just found out, by the way, about this little section over here. This looks like, you know that mission on the lava map with Vermilion? On the Vermilion problem? Where you, like, have to throw in the... whatever it is. Like, I think they're, like, fragments or whatever. You throw them into the... Is that that? I think that's what that is. Anyways. Looks like there's a scouting worker on the other side of the map. Scouting out exactly what it is that GuMiho is doing. GuMiho doing the crazy thing right now, at least for GuMiho's standards. He's putting his first structures inside of his main base. Yeah, GuMiho playing tricks with his opponent, right? So this is what he likes to do. GuMiho is one of the few people that likes to play mech as well against Zerk. I've seen him play mech all the time. It seems to actually be his standard, which is kind of cool. That bio army obviously is very powerful. That's pretty much all the Terran players play these days. But GuMiho's like, nope. I'm just going to go ahead and play a little bit differently than everyone else. I don't know if it's because, I don't know, maybe he's not fast enough for that bio army, or I don't know, man. Interestingly enough, in the StarCraft community, it's pretty much always the Terran players that get wrist issues. So pretty much all the top tier Terran players have had some sort of wrist pains throughout their careers, and some of them have even quit the game because of it. I think it's mostly due to the fact that marine splitting is just extremely unnatural on your joints. And when you do that for, like, you know, 5+ hours every single day, it doesn't go so well in the long run. Anyways, interestingly enough, it's pretty much always the Terran players that get problems, especially when they get older. So, maybe that's... I don't know. Maybe that's why GuMiho is playing, you know, mech a lot. I mean, he was already playing mech as well before going to the military. Maybe he's just a fan of the unit composition. I'm not sure. Anyways, what do we have here? Just standard openers here. Once again, we have that Twilight Council coming up for MaxPax. The Roomba there scouted it out already. Gonna be able to get a worker kill as well. Not bad whatsoever. Stalker's coming up eventually. I guess the Adept went across the map. It is indeed currently wandering in the center. And this is once again looking pretty good right here for our Terran player. Getting 2 worker kills, maybe even getting a Reaper out. Nope. Yes. Nope. Nope. No way. Look at that guy. Superman landing at the very least, though. At least he died doing what he loved. That's, you know, that's something to be admired. All right, 1-1-1 coming up here for GuMiho after that expo. So he's going to be able to get a variety of units out. Looks like it's going to be the Widowmine here first. Of course, Widowmine drops are very popular in this matchup. That being said, Glittering Ashes, it's got like 5 seconds of a longer, you know, rush distance from natural to natural. So any kind of medevac harassment is going to actually arrive quite a bit later. So maybe it's not ideal, yeah. Just using it defensively, not a bad idea. I mean, in this particular case, look at that. I love what he does. Hiding it behind the line of sight. So if, say, for example, an Oracle would fly in right now, you can't see the little pothole there. You'd have to turn the camera before you could see it. Anyways. Oh, well, still gonna fire. Normally, it's there to intercept an Oracle. No Oracle is even coming in this match, though. MaxPax probably just looking to go for a pretty quick third Nexus once again here very shortly. This time around, it doesn't really look to me like this is going to be some one base aggression here from Gumi. Or I guess it was technically 2 base in the previous game too. It felt like a 1 base all in. 1 heli on the left. Probably will poke in a little bit. And it should see that, well, there it is. It's a little early, man. A premature Hellion scout.
Additional supply depots required.
GuMiho is just gonna hang out over here. He'll probably see, he's already seen the pylon. He'll probably see the Nexus coming up. That being said, it looks to me like the Protoss is actually moving out a little bit. Just planting down the pylon over there for now. Okay, a probe is coming up, and it is gonna start Nexus relatively soon. Blake is of course done, so there's really no reason for these Stalkers to sit at home unless you expect your opponent to be aggressive. But oftentimes the best defense in StarCraft 2 is the offense, because obviously if you can force your opponent to sit at home with their units, that's one way of defending your bases. Jimmy over here is standing on top of a mine. Very brave, Jimmy. My god, Jimmy. Such a daredevil. I love that though, because this is bait. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Jimmy doesn't know this, okay? But Jimmy over here is the bait. Jimmy over here is the blink on top of me bait. And at that point, obviously, the Widowmine would kill both Jimmy as well as the Stalkers. Which is a little bit sad for Jimmy, but at the very least, you know, he's doing things. He's you know, being useful. I don't think he can hear me. I think it's fine. I'm casting for replays. Jimmy's probably already dead. Anyways, Colossus is coming up. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, and we have a much more conventional macro game here. 3rd CC also constructing right now for GuMiho. He's going to go into the 1 upgrade. We'll probably see Combat Shield after Stimpack or while Stimpack is researching. God, Jimmy has no idea, man. It's actually kind of sad. I'll keep Jimmy in mind, okay? I wish I could, like, put a little star above a unit. That would be awesome. If I could, like, track... you know, this one unit. I want to see if Jimmy makes it alive or makes it out of this game alive. That would be awesome. I'll just never unselect him. That way he will have like a little selection around, you know, his like character model. That's good. We can just follow him right here in the bottom right hand corner of the screen as well. Very convenient. But it means that I can't click on anything though. Okay, might not be ideal. Banshee coming up. This time around, no cloaking. Just a little bit of a nuisance. I love the lava flow, by the way. Lava in general is cool. This game seems to say that... Oh. This map rather seems to say that golden minerals come from lava or something along those lines. I'm not 100% sure how that works. Either way, Stalkers poking and don't lose the Stalkers. Hello. Can we put the high HP ones in front? Wouldn't mind that. Not a bad idea. Hello. Oh, God. See? There's already a couple of laser giraffes out, though, and they're gonna have a great old time. Jimmy, by the way, moved. I'm sorry. This could be Jimmy. They all look as... Oh, my God. They all look the same. It's probably Jimmy right here leading the charge. He's probably feeling ambitious after that earlier assignment of his. A couple of Marauders here get sniped, actually, which is really good for the Protoss. I mean, assuming he snipes it. One of them got sniped. Double medevac drop, heading on over towards the main base. The first real bit of action here in this game. Colossi are gonna be fantastic, but they do have to be in the right place at the right time. Already a whole load of probes end up going down here, and this is some wonderful maneuvering here from GuMiho, actually. MaxPax not really anticipating this. Bunch of the units and a bunch of the structures here get targeted. That's 15 workers going down. Yeah, the Colossi are fantastic when it comes to dealing with Marines, but they kind of suck against siege tanks. So that's 22 probes, just like that. Fantastic advantage right here for Gumi. Jimmy is probably long dead at this point as well, and because of that, I mean, at the very least, he's paid for this, right? 22 probes in total at this stage in the game for a bunch of Marines, and there were also a couple of pylons going down and some Protoss units here and there too. Siege tanks sadly can't shoot up here, so that observer will stay alive for a little while longer, but yeah, this is really, really great right now for GuMiho. So what exactly is MaxPax doing here? MaxPax having his units at the wrong place, probably anticipating the push to go up one of these two ramps over here, and then, you know, the medevacs just boosted into the main. Bit unfortunate here so far for MaxPax. Classic caster curse, where I'm hyping him up, and then he gets destroyed. That has happened so many times over the years, man. I'm like, oh god, this guy better than like Neep, it seems right now. Can he actually be better than Showtime? Keep Moyer, and then he gets destroyed. It's a little, you know. I mean, he's not out of this game yet, obviously. Protoss units are pretty scary. I'm just looking at this Protoss base right now, and all you can really do is just sit back. Right? Like, there's not really a whole lot of movement that this Protoss can do. Oh my god. Don't do it. Anyways, at this point, the majority of the firepower here of the Protoss is out of those Colossi. So the Colossi are, of course, fantastic when it comes to dealing damage, especially against Marines. But Vikings are going to be pretty good as well. So we're already at 2 Vikings. He'll probably pump out 3 at once here for some time. I mean, I would like to see some more. There we go. Yeah, just keep producing Vikings. Even make a 4 at once right now. Once you have like a dozen of them, you can just pop the Colossi out of the sky, land the Vikings, and then it's GG. Right? So we're going to go even to a 4th Colossus. 2nd Robo also coming up here for MaxPax. So he's doubling down on the Robo production. You do have to be a little bit careful that you don't get too carried away making Vikings, because if you get like 20 Vikings, and the opponent just switches to like Disruptor production or Immortal production with Stalkers, yeah, it doesn't really work so well. The Dream Team is back, baby. Alright. GuMiho playing a GuMiho. GuMiho. Wow, GuMiho also works, actually. GuMiho playing a pretty passive laid-back style is what I was getting at. Alright, yeah, so it's gonna be double Disruptor production. The thing about Disruptors, right, is that they're... Especially when you're on top of a ramp like this, they make it very difficult for the Terran player to be able to kill the Protoss. Right, you can obviously go for drops inside of the main base. There's the Fleet Beacon, or sorry, the Fusion Core coming up. Well, judging by the fact that there's +1 coming up as well, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Fleet Beacon once this Stargate finishes. Anyways, it's difficult for this Protoss player to be killed. Right? GuMiho is very far ahead right now. 200 supply, 60 supply up on his opponent. The problem is that this Terran player is going to have a hard time killing this Protoss. There's units waiting in the main base. There's a Stargate, another Stargate coming up. So you can't really blink into, or you can't really go into the main base because of the Blink Stalker. You can't really move up the ramp very effectively either. Although, yeah, I think if you can get up there, it's going to be pretty doable. Come on, Vikings, get him. Oh my god, he already stimped. That was a big stimp. Oh my god! Jeez! What? GuMiho, what was that, man? GuMiho just walked into a couple of Purification Novas. He, like, stimped into them. Battery overcharge now being used as well. My god, Gumi. Okay, he's still gonna try and continue this aggression for a little while longer. That is not what I expected at all. I think those Vikings were supposed to go around the left. Or like, you know, from the bottom over here. And then come in from the left, shoot at the Colossi. And then slowly you can advance in that direction. While also simultaneously maybe dropping over there. I know it's very hard, but that was kind of like the way that I played Terran. Like that was what? A good 30-40 supply down the drain? To 2 Disruptors? I think the disruptors may have gotten killed, but... not bad whatsoever. Okay, so now the fleet beacon is coming up. +1 air weapons is finishing very soon. I think he's probably gonna go straight into +2 air weapons. And then, if he gets like a bunch of like carriers out, life's gonna be doable. Alright, in the meantime, on the other side of the map is gonna be a Liberator transition right here from GuMiho. He's got the fusion core mostly just for the advanced ballistics upgrade. The fusion core doing its little dance. Beautiful. Yep, there's the carriers, and there's +2. So +2 makes the carriers so much more powerful. So carriers, I mean, I mention this regularly, but I really just want to emphasize it. Look at the spread, by the way, of units on the minimap. There's just units everywhere for the Terran. Carriers can deploy 8 interceptor ships each. Every single one of the interceptor ships shoots from each site, so it shoots twice for every one of its attacks, right? Every single one of these air weapon upgrades every single one of those interceptor attacks by +1. Meaning that, like, one upgrade, effectively, like, it increases the damage a ton is what I'm trying to get at. If you're ever playing carriers on the ladder, you should definitely get the air weapon upgrades. Anyways, there's gonna be a Liberator being very annoying here in the back. Already getting 6 probe kills so far. I think those are gonna be cleaned up by a carrier, which is one way of scouting those, I suppose. Alright. Base once again acquired. It has been 5 base versus 3 base now for a little bit. Once again, good disruptor purification, Nova. This time around, that one is whiffed, but comes another one. Okay, good splits this time around here from GuMi. Carriers, though, have shown up. Good force field here as well by the Protoss player. There's not really that much anti-air available. Like, there's 5 carriers out and 11 Marines and like, well, no more Vikings at this point. My god, another good purification Nova. Another good purification Nova! GuMiho seeming a little bit desperate here. There's not that much anti-air. Yeah, there's also not that many interceptor ships. Once again, 4th base will be killed. Look at this. GuMiho just adding on more and more command centers. This man has been maxed out for a while. He's got a lot of Liberators. Fair enough. Yeah, the carriers have been, the disruptors have been absolutely amazing in this game here so far from MaxPax. He's even long distance mining the left side of the map right now. Oh. Carriers coming in. Trying to come in anyway. Carriers do have to build every single one of those interceptors, though. 15 minerals. 15 for every single one of them. So they're not free. Interestingly enough, even though there are 15 minerals, they do have 40 shields and 40 health. So they're far tankier than a Marine. Oh my god. Stop it, MaxPax. MaxPax is the bowling champion of Denmark, okay? I'm pretty sure anyways. My god. At the very least, if this StarCraft thing doesn't work out for him, he can start a bowling career. Hitting strike after strike after strike. So I think, like, MaxPax's win condition at this point seems to just be critical mass. We're at 9 carriers soon. 24 Marines. They can be awkward fights, though. Okay, 4 Marauders heading into the main base. This bio army is also very split up. Gotta be careful here at the front that you don't just get overwhelmed by carriers. Like, if you lose all of those units for free, that's a lot of army. Okay, carrier interceptor ships are deployed. Marauders inside of the main base, but I don't think he really cares all too much. There's a couple of Vikings over here as well. There's actually 15 Vikings out in total. But there's somewhere, not over here at the very least. Okay, interceptors actually starting to work through all of his units, and this is what I was talking about. I mean, yeah, there's a nice little hit squad right over here on the left as well. Supply-wise, though, GuMiho has definitely plummeted. He's killed a ton of workers. 46 of them in total. My god, I think you go, Max. I think you go. Okay, he's trying to acquire the low ground base. That is 9 carriers. There's 16 Vikings out at this point, but they will need to micro really well. Okay, 1. Good. 1 carrier goes down. Colossus also popped. Very nice. This is what GuMiho needs to do. He doesn't have any missile turrets over here or anything along those lines. Once the interceptors are also deployed, they actually deal, well, I mean, they don't deal more damage, but they're going to be able to fly around the map a little bit more effectively. Oh my god, look at how much damage they do. This is +2 done, obviously. Okay. He's got to go after some of the Marines over here as well. I hope for GuMiho's sake that he hasn't accidentally overextended here, because this is... Oof. I think there may be enough carriers to kill all of the Vikings. This is such a dirty game! GuMiho threw so hard. Like, this is the biggest throw I've casted in a while. Oh my god. Well, I mean, it started with the Purification Novas, right? It's not game over yet, though. It's just that it's 64 army supply here for MaxPax versus 35 for GuMiho. And he's now on top of the main base of the Terran player. And when you're on top of the main base, this is the soft underbelly of the Terran. You can kind of just pick off the units as they pop out of the production structures. Oh my god. That was nasty. Alrighty. And that brings us to Berlin Grad, the final game in this Best-of-3 series. And this time around, MaxPax starts off the game by sending a probe towards what seems to be the other side of the map. And obviously, MaxPax, he became popular a couple of years ago when Beastie Cutie was shouting, MaxPax! MaxPax! About a dozen times in about 3 minutes. The MaxPax build is where you go pylon, pylon, gateway. Theoretically, the build order makes little sense, but realistically in games, it's very strong. So yeah, he went for a pylon at home. Now he's going for another pylon on the other side of the map. This is something MaxPax was doing when he was sitting at like 5.6k MMR or something. My god, actually, this could get very awkward. We have a MaxPax opener. The problem with this opener is that it's really designed to kill the command center. GuMiho is going for 1 gas so far. 2nd gas is a follow-up as well. So GuMiho is definitely planning on building a couple more things on the other side of the map, I'm pretty sure. So at this point, it's scouted as well. Obviously, this is the same thing, though, that MaxPax saw in game number 1. So he knows at this point it's going to be a quick factory, or it should be a quick factory anyways. What do you do at this point? I mean, MaxPax obviously very experienced when it comes to this particular build, but the MaxPax opener is definitely better against a standard Terran start. Tech lab right now for GuMiho as well on the barracks. Are we not going to do a factory? I guess we are. Yeah, he just needs 100 gas. I think so. Yep, there it is. Factory comes up. Are we going to start pumping out Marauders? I mean, pylon over here on top of the ramp. This pylon is just here in case, like, a barracks would float back home. I mean, it's going to, at the very least, allow the front door to be open, right? There's no way that Terran could really wall this off without, like, adding on, like, a whole bunch of additional structures. This could get very awkward very quickly. Alright, so we have gateways coming up. Or, sorry, gateways producing zealots here. So, zealots coming up. 1 zealot inside of the main base. Marauder, though, is currently rallied towards the main base of the Protoss. Cheese versus cheese. It doesn't happen all too often. Okay, very beautiful surround right there by GuMiho. Does lose one of the units, but that's probably because he was too busy microing somewhere else. Marauder coming up. Zealot here available as well. Shield battery, obviously, is going to be super helpful, but with good micro, GuMiho shouldn't really be able to take too much damage. Concussive shells are coming up as well. Zealot over here confirmed 1 kill so far, but not too much. There's also a Hellion being produced here for the Terran player, so he's got to go Marauder Hellion. Shield battery is going to be sweet, yes, but once battery overcharge is gone, it's not going to be that great. Stalker, in the meantime, on the other side of the map, killing SCV after SCV after SCV, and this is now looking a whole lot better. MaxPax actually now using that pylon from earlier to start a couple of shield batteries over here, because why not? Same time on the other side of the map, concussive shells are done, so GuMiho can pick off every single one of these Protoss units pretty easily as long as they are not attached to a shield battery. Bunker is also coming up right now inside of the main base, but 18 SCVs were killed, and I think now the only worker that still lives is going to be the SCV that proxied it all. Again, the win condition in StarCraft 2 is to destroy all of your opponent's structures. The bunker, of course, does count. So do these other structures that are already set up on the other side. Shield batteries are really strong, but I mean, there's a lot of firepower in this Terran army right now. The Terran's main base is completely destroyed. GuMiho not even bothering lifting the CC for some reason. Does he not know Terran structures can fly? Keep in mind, though, there's no shield batteries here for the Terran, right? There's no no medivacs. So these units, they will slowly start taking damage over time. I kind of like it. Popping them into a bunker does make a lot of sense. This is very strange right now. I mean, there's not a lot of mining here going on anymore, either for our Protoss player. We need a battery overcharge or something along those lines, but I guess he's been a little bit too liberal with chrono boosting everything out. Okay. At this point, since the CC is gone, everything has been revealed. There's the battery overcharge. He needs to just pop these units into oh my god, I think he's taken too much damage, hasn't he? Yep. GG is cold. And eventually, it is gonna be MaxPax who obtains the victory in a very chaotic best-of-3 series. I think it's safe to say that this one is a little sloppier than most of the Protoss versus Terrans that I cast.